This episode includes information on medications and supplements. January Pet Resort is not liable for any outcomes from administering these without veterinarian approval. Please consult your vet before giving any medications or supplements. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to January Pet Resort, where pet luxury has never been more affordable. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the January Pet Resort podcast. One thing I did want to say before we get started into our topic today is this coming week is our Halloween party. We do still have a couple spots open for your pup if you want them to join us on Tuesday. We will be having a costume contest. They'll be getting goodie bags. Dress your pet in its costume. If you don't have one, we have costumes. We put everyone in. You get pictures to go home, a little craft from your pet. We do have a few spots still available on Tuesday if you would like to set your pet up to come and join us for our annual Halloween party. So today's topic is going to be about first aid for your pets, the different supplies that I keep in my house for my pets, whether they hurt themselves or if they have an upset stomach or anything like that. We all know that our pets sometimes come in and we're like, how the heck did you do that? So this just lets us be prepared. So I have a bin at home that I keep all of my first aid stuff in. I went through that. I have vet wrap. Now, vet wrap is kind of like an ace bandage. It is a sticky ace bandage, so you don't need to use tape or anything with it. That is really nice if your pup has cut themselves or done something, or they're licking a spot and you want to wrap it. You can pick that up on Amazon. You can pick it up at Tractor Supply. You can pick it up at your pet stores. They have ones that are both regular, and then they have ones for those chewers. So it's actually a bitter vet wrap. With the bitter vet wrap, when you put it on, wash your hands afterwards. It is called bitter for a reason.
Yeah, in case you chew your own nails.
Exactly. Exactly. So when it comes to the first aid kit, a lot of these things are the things that you have for yourself. So if you need blunt end scissors, you want them to be blunt end so that you're not poking anything if you're trying to take any wraps off. Rolled cotton is always good to put underneath the vet wrap to make sure that their skin is protected, or if you're putting on any type of ointment. I particularly use Bag Balm. I grew up on a farm. Bag Balm has been around since the 1800s. We always had it at the farm for the cows. So I have just gravitated towards that when I use that on my pets, and I use it for myself as well. One thing I will say about Bag Balm, if you have a lanolin allergy, there is lanolin, which is the natural oil produced by the sheep. If you have a lanolin allergy, you're going to want to probably find something else, because Bag Balm does contain lanolin. So that is something to keep in mind. It's a great thing to have on hand for not only your pets, but for yourself as well. Some other things you're going to have is the Elizabethan collar. Like a lot of people call it the cone of shame. The cone of shame comes in the hard plastic, which hurts every time they bang into you. It comes in a fabric, which is a little bit better. You can also get the e-collar in a inflatable. It's like a donut tube that goes around their neck. It's always good to have one in case they start chewing on something they shouldn't be chewing on.
Like a hot spot?
Exactly. You want to keep them from chewing on hot spots. You want to keep them from licking any cuts, incisions if they've had surgery, spays, neuters. Your vet's going to say put an e-collar on them. You can't keep your eyes on them 24/7. So make it so it fits into your lifestyle. You're not getting bruised by them banging into you. Get a soft collar instead, or if you want to, get one of the inflatable collars. That little bit of time that they're going to be in the e-collar is going to make up for how quickly they get out of it.
All right, I have a situation, Eileen.
Okay.
Devin had an upset stomach the other day, and I have Tums in my medicine cabinet. And I said, hey, Google, can I give my dog a Tums? And I was so blown away by the response that Tums can be poisonous to dogs because it has that artificial sweetener in it.
We don't realize that there's medication that artificial sweetener has been added to. Artificial sweetener is toxic to dogs. The best thing is going to be restricting food and treats, making sure they have access to water. What you want to do is slow down your systolic or your diastolic movement, whether it's in their stomach or in their intestines. If they have diarrhea for over 24 hours, then you want to make a phone call to your veterinarian. Pepto-Bismol is okay to give to dogs if it's the regular original Pepto-Bismol. It is something I already have in my arsenal.
So that would be the safest medication to give a dog with an upset stomach or a loose stool.
That's over the counter. Correct. There's something that's called happy tail. And happy tail means the dog is so happy that it takes its tail and it is whacking its tail against the refrigerator, the corner of the cabinets. Tails are very hard to heal because they keep getting re-injured. It's like there's a disconnect between their brain and the pain that they have in their tail every time they hit it. So they continue to whack that tail. And then the problem is they start chewing on it. When they get an injury, and it hurts or itches and they start chewing on it, they can't stop. They don't have that makeup in their brain to say, okay, well, what I'm doing is doing more damage. I have to stop doing that. So they'll continue to do it and it becomes self-mutilation. And it's not like you can put an e-collar on your dog and they're not going to chew on their tail.
Right, their tails just keep going.
Exactly. So if you get this particular product, it's the Chinese finger trap for the tail. It's called Dog Ends. I buy it on Amazon. I just keep it on hand because with having Great Danes, they have very fine hair on their tails and they have very long tails. So when they get happy and they whack their tails on stuff, they can easily have a problem, cause happy tail. And what ends up happening with a lot of dogs that it doesn't heal is you do have to have the tail amputated. We will see it here sometimes. We'll see dogs who get happy tail. So we can move them into our nursery suites, which are very large. And then that gives their tail an opportunity to heal and to scab. And we keep them there throughout their stay.
Can you put Bag Balm on happy tail?
You can put Bag Balm on happy tail.
Sounds like you could put Bag Balm on everything.
Everything and anything.
Remember my big Frat Creek wedding with the father with the Windex?
It's just like that.
That's how we are with the Bag Balm.
Exactly.
Put a little Bag Balm on it. It'll heal.
It'll heal right up. So if you've experienced happy tail, you know what kind of bloodbath you're getting into when it comes to happy tail.
I have not personally experienced happy tail.
But I know we have listeners who
But
have.
if I did have a tail, I would have happy tail all the time.
Exactly. You would have happy tail all the time.
I know, because I'm always so happy.
I'm very much more of the be prepared rather than try and figure it out. So the next thing I always keep on hand for my dogs is a thermometer. Remember, a dog's temperature, usually it's between like 100 and maybe like 102. You don't want to go much over 102. You really want to keep it in that range. If they've been out exercising, if it's summer, it's going to be a little hotter. They can fluctuate in their temperature. So always have that. Then if you have to call the vet, you can be like, oh, my dog's temperature is 103. You already are giving your vet information to get the diagnosis faster. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing lethargy, might be seeing vomiting, I might be seeing diarrhea. Oh, by the way, also his temperature is 103. Something else that I do keep is a pill popper. Pill poppers, you can put the pill into it, put it in your dog's mouth, and you press the plunger. That'll push it down into your dog's
Those
throat.
are very good to have.
So it's very good to have one of those if you have a dog who needs to get pills, but they are not wanting to eat whatever you put the pill in. So I keep in my first aid kit, I keep a tourniquet in there. I keep a pair of tweezers in there that is just for the dogs. I keep hydrogen peroxide. I keep that for two reasons. One is hydrogen peroxide. I can spray it on if they get a cut. The other reason is you can use hydrogen peroxide to encourage your dog to vomit. So if your dog has eaten something and you call your vet and you're like, what do I do? And they're like, make your dog vomit. They're going to tell you to use hydrogen peroxide. Once that goes down there, your dog will vomit, and it's safe for them in small amounts to use for vomiting. So I always have hydrogen peroxide in there for my dogs. Betadine. So betadine is like an iodine. It's a wound disinfectant.
Yeah. I remember that when I was a kid.
Exactly. So you can't get straight iodine anymore like you were able to when we were younger. Now it's betadine. So I always keep a little bit of that on hand as well, a small bottle of that. I also keep a muzzle that is appropriately sized to my dogs. Dogs, no matter what anyone thinks, when they are injured, they are going to react instinctually.
So they could possibly bite, no matter how much they love you.
No matter how much
No matter what breed it is.
No matter what breed it is. Exactly. So I always keep an appropriately sized muzzle for my dogs because I am not going to put them in the position that I have to explain that my dog just bit me.
You know what? That's information everybody should really listen to, Eileen.
That's
because
how I
most
see
people
it.
think, oh, my dog would never hurt me. Well, when's the last time your dog was injured?
Exactly.
Or was in that instinctual mode?
You never know what's going to happen, so it's something you really need to think of.
I'm going to buy one this week.
I'm always one of those people who feels if I have it, I'll never need it, but if I don't have it, I will need it.
Insurance.
Exactly. A couple other things. I always keep Quick Stop powder. If you're trimming your dog's nails or if your dog breaks its nail, Quick Stop powder will get the bleeding to stop. So will flour, but Quick Stop powder will stop it much faster. If your dog's broken its nail, you have to take it to the vet. They can clean that off. You can at least get the bleeding stopped. They also make something called Vetricin. It's a wound spray. That's always nice to use. You can use it for a hot spot. Once they have stopped bothering the hot spot, you can use that. Sometimes dogs who have, like, say, fatty tumors, they might might get a little bit of irritation on, the fatty tumor. Vetricin is a very good brand. I also always have dosing syringes, 1 milliliter, 5 milliliter, 10 milliliter. That way, if my vet is giving me something that I need to put orally down my dog's throat and it's a liquid, I know I have backup syringes. Also, sometimes my dog doesn't want to take medication, so I dissolve it in some water, suck it up in that syringe, and squirt it in the back of their throat.
The dosing syringe.
The dosing syringe. So that's in my first aid bin. Now I have my other bin. So in that bin, I have a probiotic. Fortiflora is a great probiotic. There's other probiotics you can get. Probius is a good probiotic chew. Fortiflora is a powder. The form it comes in that your dog's going to be most apt to eat, whether it's a powder mixed in the food or a chew is a treat. That's the nice thing about some supplements, whether you're doing a probiotic supplement or you're doing a Dasaquin supplement. Dasaquin, which is a joint supplement. So you can take one of those treats that are high in calories and low in vitamins and minerals and take that out of your repertoire and give your dog its supplement as a treat instead. So you can do that as well. Buffered aspirin, not regular aspirin. It has to be buffered aspirin. That's a fever reducer, pain reliever.
I was just going to bring that up. I remember Jane telling me when the dogs would get pano, which is just an inflammation of the long bone, and it happens usually in larger breed dogs.
During heavy growth periods,
which is basically growing pains. She saved me thousands of dollars in vet bills.
Exactly.
From just panicking as a human.
Of course, yeah, because you have this new puppy who's growing. You want to do everything right by this puppy, and
it starts to limp.
And
what's wrong with my dog?
Exactly. And it's literally growing pains.
That's it.
So buffered aspirin, make sure it's buffered. Omeprazole is an antacid. A lot of vets will actually prescribe omeprazole for dogs that have stomach issues.
But that isn't something that you can just pick up at a store, is it?
You can.
Oh, you can?
You can pick up omeprazole at the
Look how
store.
much money we're saving people that are listening to this podcast.
Exactly. Benadryl. Benadryl is good for a couple things. Allergies.
Yeah,
itching.
allergies, yeah.
And the other is making your dogs a little calmer, because you never know what's going to happen. All right. So then we have bitter apple spray. You have a dog that's chewing, you can spray a little bitter apple spray. Hot spot spray. A hot spot is just an area of irritation on your dog for many, many different reasons that they start to chew on, that starts to make it red, it starts to make it raw. You want to get them to stop chewing on it. You want it to start to heal.
And you can pick that up at any pet store.
Any pet store. Nose and paw balm. So in the winter, it's very good for your dogs. That is like a chapstick for putting on your dog's nose and their paw pads. It helps to give them an extra layer of protection in the winter.
Should everybody be putting that on their dog's paws in the winter?
I would say, yeah.
Is it as good as Bag Balm, Eileen?
In the winter, it's better than Bag Balm for
there
that
you have
particular
it. We
use.
have a winner.
So hydrocortisone cream, that is something that's going to help if your dog has itching. A lot of times in the spring, dogs will go out and they'll start to get a little bit of irritation from the fresh green grass. It's always nice to keep in your arsenal. Zymox makes incredible products. I have Zymox ear drops. One of our dogs, she's prone to ear issues. As soon as she starts to tilt that head a little funny or just work on that ear a little bit, we start using those ear drops in her ear immediately so it doesn't turn into a full-blown ear infection. Zymox also has a hydrocortisone spray. They have eye drops as well. When we're suffering from allergies, dogs can be suffering from allergies as well. They're just as apt to have allergies as we are. Their allergy testing is just as comprehensive as ours is. We could have a high pollen count. Your dog's got really itchy red eyes. You can just help them out by flushing them with a little bit of eye wash, even simple saline eye wash. Keep on hand. And then a pill cutter. Your vet's going to give you pills. They don't always cut the pills for you. So I always keep a pill cutter and a pill crusher at home just so that I have it. Listen, I know that this is a lot of information.
It's really quite simple. You have it in your own medicine cabinet for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, if you love your dog, make sure that you have a little medicine cabinet for them in a bag.
I have 2 baskets at home. One basket has all the first aid stuff in it, so anything happens to my dogs, I can grab that basket and take it to them. And then the other basket has all of the rest of the stuff. Obviously, this doesn't include any current medication that they are taking on a consistent basis. That is near their food. This is all in a separate basket, not a everyday situation. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us again. Have a great one. Bye.